You didn't break because something hit you. You broke because you let too many small things slip through the cracks. One look, one text, one memory, one promise that never meant anything to them. But you still held it like it did. You don't fall apart in one moment. You fall apart from the moments you never acknowledged. The moments you said, "It's fine, it's nothing, I'll get over it." But you didn't. You just buried it. And the weight stayed. Most people think emotional strength is about big gestures, bold boundaries, loud comebacks. But strength isn't built in reaction. It's built in ritual. The way you wake, the silence you protect, the words you no longer explain, the people you stop chasing, the thoughts you stop feeding. The Stoics didn't shout to stay strong. They trained to stay whole. Not just during storms, but in the quiet, the routines, the places no one sees, because that's where the cracks form. And if you don't see the leak, you drown in it. Emotional strength isn't armor, it's alignment between what you feel, what you do, and what you allow. And most days, you don't need more motivation. You need less exposure, less tolerance for chaos, less access for noise, less space for things that only know how to take. You feel tired, but it's not fatigue, it's leakage from being too open to things you never needed to carry. So stop trying to be strong by carrying more. Start by sealing the leaks, the micro decisions, the unspoken yes, the scrolls that numb but never heal, the calls you answer out of guilt, the thoughts you revisit like addiction. Strength isn't what you lift, it's what you no longer carry. You don't need to be louder, you need to be clearer. You don't need to fight harder, you need to stop fighting what you should have walked away from a long time ago. So start there, not with what broke you, but with what's been bleeding you in silence. You don't break, you leak. And once you seal that, you stop being reactive and start being ready. They think you're born calm, born cold, born untouchable. But stillness isn't nature, it's training. You weren't always like this. You used to flinch, react, try to fix every tension in the room just so it wouldn't explode. You thought your job was to absorb it all, to carry the emotion so no one else had to. Until it broke you. Not once, but slowly, repeatedly, until you realized nothing will ever calm down. If you don't, stillness is not what you feel, it's what you return to. It's not being unaffected, it's being unmoved by what doesn't deserve your reaction. The Stoics built stillness like you build a wall. Brick by brick, practice by practice, moment by moment. They didn't meditate for peace, they trained their mind to stop answering every knock. Not everyone gets access. Not every feeling gets attention. Not every thought gets a microphone. You want strength? Then build the space between what hits you and what moves you, between what triggers you and what you choose to do next. That space is stillness. And stillness isn't passive, it's power that doesn't need to perform. It's self-respect that doesn't explain. It's clarity that doesn't rush to fill the silence. You don't get there by accident. You don't wake up centered. You build it. Every time you shut the noise before it enters, every time you pause instead of bite, breathe instead of break, hold instead of spill. Stillness isn't natural. It's earned, it's chosen, it's protected. Not because you're stone, but because you've bled before. And this time, you'd rather stand. So practice it. Not for show, not for peace, but because when chaos comes, you'll already know how to sit inside it without becoming part of it. You don't lose yourself by accident. You lose yourself by overgiving, by staying too long, by being available to everything that asks for a piece of you. They call it generous, but it's not. It's bleeding in slow motion. Your energy is not infinite. It burns, it drains, it cracks. When stretched by too many just-a-minute texts, too many quick favors, too many rooms you enter, only to leave feeling smaller. And no one notices, because you still smile, still show up, still say it's okay, but it's not. You're dimmer, quieter, more distant, even from yourself. The Stoics guarded their energy like soldiers at the gate. Not because they feared the world, but because they knew. The mind doesn't lose strength in war, it loses it in peace. When you stop protecting the walls, energy isn't just for tasks, it's for decision, for clarity, for staying kind. When your body is tired, but your soul still knows what matters. And when you're drained, even your truth sounds like noise. You think saying yes keeps you loved, but often, it just teaches people to treat your light like it costs nothing. So protect it, aggressively, deliberately, quietly. Let some calls go unanswered. Let some texts sit. Let some people learn that access to you is not automatic. You don't owe them your energy. You owe it to what matters, to your focus, to your breath, to your stillness. Because when everything takes and nothing pours back, you become a container that looks full but is cracked at the base. Guard it, not with anger, but with intention, not to be cold, but to stay lit. Because what you don't protect will be taken, and what gets taken doesn't always come back the same. This isn't about being hard, it's about being lit long enough to last, long enough to become the fire you were born to carry. You're allowed to feel it. The sting, the weight, the quiet ache that follows a conversation no one heard but you. Let it rise, let it tremble in your chest, let it tighten your throat, but don't obey it. Don't make it your guide. Don't let it write the script for how you move through the world. Most people don't drown because they feel too much. They drown because they start bowing to whatever they feel. They mistake emotion for truth, reaction for purpose. The Stoics didn't feel less, they just bowed less. They stood, they breathed, they listened to the fire inside without letting it consume the structure they built around it. You can feel everything and still be composed. You can break inside and still choose silence over spectacle. You can cry alone and still be strong enough to speak like steel when it's needed. Because strength isn't about suppression, it's about position. Who's in charge? You or the wave? Let the sadness speak. Let the memory flood. Let the wound remind you why you stopped running back to places that always hurt. But don't collapse into it. Don't kneel before it. Don't give it your spine. You can forgive without forgetting. You can be grateful without going back. You can let go without losing your edge. Some feelings aren't meant to be healed, just held, until they no longer shake you. So hold them, feel them, but don't bow. Not because you're unfeeling, but because you've learned. What happens when you let emotion drive the wheel too long? You're not stone, you're not soft, you are fire that refuses to take orders from the wind. Pain doesn't ask, it doesn't wait, it doesn't knock gently. It enters, loud, sudden, uninvited. And the moment it arrives, you have two choices: use it or be used by it. Most people run, they numb, they scroll, they fill the silence so the pain won't echo too loud. But echo is not the enemy. Avoidance is. The Stoics sat with pain, not to suffer, but to study. They didn't ask why me, they asked what now? What can this teach? What can this sharpen? What must now be burned so something cleaner can be built? Because pain is not punishment, it's signal that something has cracked, something must shift, something inside is asking to be seen, finally. If you ignore it, it will return. If you numb it, it will root deeper. But if you meet it face to face, breath to breath, it becomes training. The rep you didn't ask for, the weight you didn't plan for, the lesson you never wanted, but desperately needed. Let it break your pride, not your core. Let it soften your grip, not your direction. Let it open something. You've been afraid to admit that your strength was never built in comfort. You want to grow? Stop asking for easier lessons. Ask for sharper eyes, stronger lungs, more awareness inside the fire. Because the ones who rise aren't the ones who avoid pain. They're the ones who've trained in it, moved through it. Let it hit without letting it define. Your scars are not shame, they are signal that you passed through and stayed whole. So next time it hurts, don't numb, don't explain, don't collapse. Just listen, just breathe, just stay. Train with it. because pain only wins when you leave the gym too early. They think strength is how you speak, how you walk, how you look when everything's fine. But strength isn't for the good days. It's for the silence that no one claps for. The breakdowns that happen behind calm eyes. The pain that doesn't turn into a story, just a scar. The Stoics never performed strength. They sat with it, in solitude, in storms, in stillness that didn't need validation. They didn't show up louder, they just stayed longer. That's real strength. Not what you flash in front of the world, but what you carry when no one's watching. When the weight is quiet, but real. When it's easier to walk, but you stay. You stayed through doubt. You stayed through tension. You stayed through the uncomfortable parts of your own mind. Without running. That's not softness. That's control. It's not about being untouchable. It's about being undefeated, even when touched, even when hit, even when shaken. You want to be emotionally strong? Then stop asking how to hide your feelings and start asking how to hold them without them holding you. Stop looking for the quick fix. Start building the slow core, the one that holds when everything outside breaks. Because strength isn't what they see, it's what you know. That you won't fold when the feeling comes. That you won't snap just because something triggers you. That you can carry what's heavy and still walk with stillness. It's not how you show up, it's what you stay with. It's what you don't quit when quitting is quiet and no one would blame you. So breathe and hold the weight. Not because it's easy, not because you're better, but because you've trained to stay standing when everything else tells you to sit. That's what strength is, and it's already in you, beneath the noise, beneath the storm, beneath the part of you that never left.